Welcome to Trent Bosch Tools. I'm Trent Bosch. I wanted to kind of just give you a quick tour of our facility here today. Way back when, probably about 25 years ago or so, I was serious about wood turning, and I kept on looking for specific tools that would allow me to do the specific things that I wanted to do. And I was always running into the problem that they just weren't exactly what I wanted. Every tool I got, I had to modify it to make it work properly for me. So I started making just a few tools for myself over the years, where I would, refine a design that would make my process a little bit easier for me. And it just evolved. We started out with hollowing tools, were basically the first setup that we did, because I was really focused on hollowing. And back in the early 90s, there wasn't a lot of hollowing tools out there. There was 3 or 4 different people making them, and I wasn't happy with the quality or the way that they were used, and I just decided to start figuring out how to make my own. So I used my own for several years, and then I got more into teaching and sharing my knowledge of wood turning with others. And basically what happened there is I was showing people how to do what I do and using the tools that I do, and they'd always ask me, so where can I get these tools, because they seem to work good. And I was basically told them, well, I made them myself. You could go ahead and make them yourself as well. And they're like, yeah, no, I want a wood turn. I don't want to make tools. So I started on a really small scale, just making a few tools a month, selling them to people that I was teaching. And it evolved over that period of time. And now we have quite a line of tools specifically designed for wood turners. The tools are very unique in the field, and they're very functional, as well as they just don't get in your way when you're turning, or whatever you're doing with them. They're just meant to kind of meld with the process, and that's my goal throughout the whole time, is to make products that don't get in the way of your own creativity, and you can just go ahead and work and create the stuff you want to create without the tools getting in your way, although they help you out and they make your whole process easier, faster, better. And so we'll go through the shop here and show you the machines that we're working on and the various things. We produce just about every piece that we have in our product line is produced here. There's a few electronic pieces that we outsource, but I would say, and I'm not a statistics kind of guy, I would say at least 96 to 98% of the tools that I sell are manufactured right here on our premises. So it's kind of a fun thing. We made that decision early on after we started farming some stuff out, and we're getting products that we didn't really want, and we had to rework and change them up to make them meet our quality control standards. So it just made sense to bring everything that we could in-house and have that control. And the thing that's done for us is allowed us to prototype and research and make these tools over and over again until we get them just right, and then they can go into production. So it's really allowed us to refine every design in the line, and we continue to evolve and make new tools. Probably have more tools in my head still than I have in the line, but time is of the essence. So I don't always get all the tools in my head out into reality, but there's more time. So we're in our packing, shipping, and final assembly area. We're a small company, so it's not a huge facility, but we maximize our space as much as we possibly can. So over here is where we do all that packing and shipping and everything. A lot of packages go through here, and most all of our stuff goes out Postal Service or UPS. We get it out to the customers as fast as we can. We're no Amazon, but we try and keep a good inventory of tools and get them out as fast as we possibly can. Over here is basically the pieces and parts for a lot of the products. All the pieces and parts are basically in the final stages here. They're already polished up. They're already ready to go. They're just not assembled. So the hollowing tools don't have tips. There's a lot of parts and pieces for the stabilizers that are just ready to put together. So, you know, we come in here, we grab the parts and pieces that we need to assemble whatever we're after, and we can do it pretty quick. We'd rather do it this way than have all of our stuff assembled and a bunch of stuff sitting on the tables. We just rather have the parts and assemble it when we get the order. So it works out pretty good for what we're up to. Over here is where I do a lot of the assembly of the parts and pieces. You see on the wall there's the vinyl for the tool handles. We get that in large rolls. There's a whole variety of small parts and pieces in these drawers here. And these are some of the tools that we use often in the assembly process, just to kind of streamline that everything's there, quick and easy for us, ready to go. Moving on over here, there's a few other tools. We do some visualizer assembly here, and then there's some inventory sitting up on the wall over here. And then there's also some packing that goes on over here. We have minimal packing on our product. We try to keep it as environmentally friendly as possible. So we're not going to package things in large, big, bulky packages just for looks. We just want it to be nice and simple. This is one of our largest machines. Does a lot of the parts and pieces for almost all the tools. It's a CNC mill. And it has 4 different vices in here, and each vise can hold several parts too. They're double vices. So it allows us to produce a lot of parts without having to change things as often. And right now this machine is running parts and pieces for the stabilizer, and it's the top and bottom arms for the articulating part of the stabilizers. So basically what this is it's a computer-driven machine. It has 21 different tools that it can choose from in order to produce whatever program it's producing. And I've just put in a couple of the parts that we're running. And we'll go ahead and shut the doors here, and we'll start it up. It's pretty straightforward machine. Once you get the program in there and get that program refined in order to do what it needs to do, then all I have to do is basically change parts out, push go, and it goes ahead and does what it needs to do. It's just changing tools in there. And now it's going into a boring process for the holes that are in these pieces. And then it goes into the milling part of the process. And then there's also some tapped pieces in there as well. And it taps those. The tapping part of it's kind of one of the cooler parts that I like. The spindle knows exactly where to spin for whatever threads per inch that tap that's in there is. So it goes in at a certain feed rate and back out at a certain feed rate, but that tap just creates a perfect thread. So it's kind of a cool thing. There's a flood coolant going on in there too, so the cutters that are in this machine, they last for a very long time. And it's so much more precise than I could be by hand. It's just it's pretty cool. It works out pretty good for our facility. And this is the machine, probably one of our newer machines that's let us ramp up production to keep up with the demand for some of the tools that we're selling. So this is our little gang tool lathe. This particular lathe allows us to make all the round parts, obviously. Right now we're making some pins or posts for the 5/8 inch stabilizer for the mini lathes. And so these little guys are what goes into the tool rest of your mini lathe. And basically this program, what we do is we put this piece in there. It faces and chamfers one side of the part. I flip it around and put it in the other direction, and then it'll face, drill, and then tap the hole in the side, on the inside for the rest of that. So I'll go ahead and put one in. It's a collet in here, so that it basically, you put the piece in, you close the collet down, locks that part in place, and then you push again, you push start, and it goes for it and makes what it needs to make. Halfway through the cycle, I'll flip it around and it'll do the other side. And again, it's just this is one of those machines that's been really handy for us. It's allowed us to do a lot of stuff. This here is a bar feeder, so there are some parts that we can just make continuously via the bar feeder. So we can put a 12-foot long bar in here, and it will continually feed that bar, make the part, cut the part off, and just keep making that part over and over again until the bar's used up. So that's makes production a lot faster. I don't have to be standing here running the machine at all. So basically just took that raw piece of steel and turned it into the exact part we want it to be. It's a pretty quick program, but when you're doing 50 of these at a time, works out pretty good. So this is our smaller mill. It's kind of a hobbyist mill, but it was our first one and really worked out pretty well. It is basically our engraving machine now. So all the parts and pieces that need branded with our name on it, this goes ahead and does that. And it's basically right now just engraving the stabilizer, the top bar on the stabilizers of the 3/4 inch stabilizer. And basically writing, if you looked on the monitor here, you can kind of see how it says it's Trent Bosch 3/4 inch stabilizer, and that's basically what we're writing on there. We'll give it a minute to finish up, and we can pop one of them off here, and you can take a look. We could actually pop this one off here. And that's basically all this machine's doing right now, is just doing that engraving on there. Well, I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea about what we do here at Trent Bosch Tools and how our parts and pieces are made all in-house here. You only just scratch the surface. There's so many other little steps that go into every process that we do. But just giving you that overview, I think, will help people understand. I can't count how many people I talk to that are, buying my tools and had no clue that my tools aren't made in China or they're not made by other manufacturers. So we're doing it all right here, and it keeps our quality as high as we possibly can keep it, and our customer service is also really high as well, because we're so attached to our products. We're making them one by one, and that way we're proud of them, and we can really keep that quality super high. Thanks for watching.